Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Mark Subel. He helps your company grow online utilizing digital marketing. Mark is the owner of Two Wheels Marketing, a Columbus, Ohio-based boutique digital marketing firm specializing in search engine marketing, PPC and SEO, and paid social marketing, which is Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn ads. Their clients typically come to them looking for three things: more leads, more sales, or more exposure. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Neil.
Well, those three things are definitely very important. That gets the traffic and the business coming in so that we can make profit. And that's what it's all about in the end, is making a profit. So tell me how you got into this business, Mark, to help people make profits, and what got you started with digital marketing.
Yeah, it was actually kind of a roundabout way. I started working for a company who was actually working in the online poker and online casino world. And this was back in the late 2000s, before 2010. So they were driving traffic at that time to their websites through SEO. At that time, some pay-per-click, but not as much. And I helped with a lot of the digital initiatives there initially, helping recruit affiliates. Affiliates were driving traffic through SEO. And then just taught myself basically from there how to do search engine marketing, search engine optimization, and PPC. And then once that tenure had ended, branched out and did some consulting and started my own company several years later.
Cool. And that's how Two Wheels came about?
Yeah, basically on the side, I was doing some consulting work in SEO and PPC, and just started doing some work on the side that just started to grow slowly, to the extent that I could then start a business from doing that. Yep.
All right. I'm intrigued. Why Two Wheels?
Some people think, are you an avid cyclist, that type of thing. I mean, I definitely am, but I'm more a casual cyclist that just likes to bike a lot. So, we live in Columbus, Ohio, kind of a smaller Midwest town. It's very bike friendly. And so for years, I've ridden my bike to work, to the office here. And over time, we've slowly seen more people bike to work. But I used to meet clients on my bike. I'd go meet them for coffee on my bike. And then my wife is a graphic designer by trade. So she's just had an idea for a logo. And she said, why don't you just call it Two Wheels Marketing? And here's your logo. And that was it. So nothing too exciting other than that's what the story
There you go. And I'm sure you had a lot of ideas when you were on that bike as well, hadn't you?
Of course. Yeah. Allows you to think, for sure.
All right. Well, talk to me about your clients. Who is it that you serve?
We serve a lot of different industries. So some people ask us, what industries do you specialize in? I feel like we've seen a little bit of, a lot of different industries, but big clients, small clients. We've worked on behalf of agencies working on huge Fortune 1000 type companies. So we work with startups and, service-based businesses. So kind of seen it all over the years. So just a broad spectrum, and still to this day, we still have a variety of different clients.
So I know not all clients are the same, but based on the things that you say they're looking for more leads, more sales, more exposure. Do they have the same kind of wants that across the board?
Yeah, essentially, yes, they do. I mean, I think, some of the pain points that people have across the board, big and small, is just understanding the digital landscape out there. There's so much information out there and so much misinformation out there that people they don't even know where to start. So we come in and can clearly communicate, hey, here are some of the options for you. Here's what we have seen work. Here's what could potentially work for your business, and help them solve that. So there's just a lot of confusion out there. So we're able to kind of come in. We have experience in a lot of different industries with a lot of different techniques for marketing, and develop a plan that we think will work well for their particular situation. And everyone's goals are a little bit different, even though they're all the same: more leads, more sales, more exposure. Each one presents kind of a unique challenge to reaching those goals. And so it's our job to try to figure that out and see what can work best for them.
Give me an example, if you can, of a business that you've worked with, maybe one on the smaller side, and what their goals were, and what kind of strategy that you put in place for them, and maybe one on the larger side, and let's hear what kind of goals they have and the strategy they have too.
Sure. I think one of the more interesting clients we've had that's been a little bit smaller has been a surrogacy agency. So they help place intended parents with surrogates. And so they basically just came and said, hey, we need more surrogate mothers to help our intended parents here. How can you help us? And so, we did keyword research and industry research and found that there were, a number of people looking for, terms on Google, how do I become a surrogate, and related types of keywords. So we developed a pay-per-click campaign to drive those searchers to their landing page, to their company, to learn more about it, how they could become a surrogate. And over time, we generated a number of leads for them and helped them increase their surrogate mother base for their company, and actually helped their business, which is helping parents who maybe for whatever reason can't have a child but want to, with mothers who are willing to be that surrogate. It was actually a really great story, because after a year or two, they increased their pool. They were able to place more surrogates with intended parents, and it was just a great story all around.
That is a good one. It's not necessarily in the whole lead sales or exposure. They're actually looking for more of a resource, which is a slightly different take on it. So it really all depends on what the goals are. Talk to me about one of the bigger clients.
Yeah, I mean, one of our bigger clients is more on the exposure side of things. So they had come to us. They're a big healthcare organization here in Ohio, and they had been working with a provider to provide some paid search initiatives. But really, their goals are impressions, getting more people to see the brand, clicks to the website, and just generating more interest in their healthcare organization. And so we came in, identified areas where we can improve the paid search campaign. We reduced cost per click cost significantly, so we were able to drive a lot more clicks for their budget, increase impressions, and then we also identified other areas where they were not currently marketing their brand on digital platforms. So one area where they weren't yet marketing, and this is maybe 2 or 3 years ago, was Facebook ads. So we launched campaigns there to drive interest, branding, exposure there, drove a lot of impressions, drove a lot of clicks to the website. And we also track, what do people do once they get to the website? Do they click and call? Do they enter their information? So it's not just driving, interest, impressions, and clicks, but also what is the quality of that traffic? And so we're able to communicate to them. So we were able to exponentially increase brand exposure, traffic to their website, and then also the quality of that traffic for that healthcare organization.
Great. Now, do you find that a lot of companies have problems with tracking and trying to define what success is with a digital marketing campaign?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest challenges and the biggest pain points for a lot of clients is, is this working, basically? How do we track that? How do we know that it's working? And so we come in, and our agency is definitely very results oriented. So we track things like conversions, phone calls, email submissions, sales, and track that back to the campaign, to the keyword level. So we can communicate to the client, hey, here are the campaigns that are working, and here are some of the platforms that are working. Here's some of the ad copy that's working, and that helps them then develop more of an ROI for their marketing spend. But it all comes down to accurate tracking, understanding what that data means, and how to communicate that to the client so they can make informed decisions with their marketing dollars.
So tell me, what's the benefit of having an outside marketing agency like yourself and Two Wheels Marketing, rather than trying to do it all in-house like some of the bigger companies might do?
Sure, I think certainly it can be done in-house, but I think with a firm like ours, who we've specialized in this for a number of years, we've seen a lot of different case studies and cases throughout different industries or within an industry that the client may be in. So we have that experience. We're on top of the platforms, these, AdWords and Bing and Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and everything changes. It almost feels like it changes more rapidly than it did a few years ago in terms of different tracking, different ads, different techniques. That's what we live and breathe. So we're on that all day, every day. And so whereas somebody in-house may be pulled into some different directions, or maybe they're responsible for one area, another area, we're on top of each of those, for the client, have expertise there where maybe they just don't have the experience that we do.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about driving traffic. There's two different ways. There's the paid version, and then there's not necessarily free, but SEO, which is more organic. How do you tell which one to go for?
It's very client dependent. For instance, if you're a law firm, that's probably a lot more competitive in a space than a driveway paving company, for instance. So, it definitely depends on the client, the landscape out there, and just, the website, how they're tracking leads, that type of thing. So I think, it's our job as an agency to look at the client's goals, whether it's a law firm or a driveway paving company, and say, what is your company doing now? How is it working? What are some of the other companies in the space doing? How can we compete? And then develop that strategy, whether it's organic or paid. A lot of times we'll start out with paid campaigns to just get a feel really quickly in terms of what are the keywords and some of the campaigns that are working. And then if we find something that is working really well, then that can transfer over to an organic campaign. So I think both work in tandem to deliver goals for the clients, but it's all client and industry dependent, and certainly geographic. If you're serving a certain niche area, if you're a roofer in New York City or a roofer in, let's say, Los Angeles versus Topeka, Kansas, it's a much different landscape.
Yes, definitely. A lot more competition in LA. Let's talk about the keywords then. How do you know what keywords to go for?
Yeah, so our job at the beginning is just to get a better understanding from the client in terms of what are the products and services that they provide. And then from there, we use keyword research tools, Google being one of the more popular ones, to do the keyword research. So they provide data on, average monthly searches for different types of keywords. And then we have a process where we, segment that out into different areas. We understand, what are people searching for more often? What are some niche phrases maybe that we can go after? And then develop that strategy so that we can, target not only, broad keywords that, get a lot of volume, but also a lot of those smaller, what we call in the industry, longer tail queries, 3, 4, 5 word queries that when people type in those types of queries, they typically are further down the decision-making process. And so, we look at those too and develop content or campaigns to target those as well. So we use a lot of keyword research tools. Just running pay-per-click campaigns, you get a lot of real-time data back in terms of what are actually people typing in, and using that for both paid and organic campaigns.
Now, how have things changed over the years? Because I know when I search on Google now, it's mainly a voice search, which is asking a question. How do you find those kinds of questions that are being asked via voice?
Yeah, good question. I think, there's been a rise in, the voice searches and that type of thing. So kind of going back to what I was saying about the long tail queries, I think, PPC data, so when you're running search campaigns, you're actually getting data back from Google, letting you know what the exact queries are that people are typing in. So that has been really helpful to understand, like, what is some of the terminology people are using. It's funny because a lot of times we see in search query reports, we'll see something like, okay, Google, and then they have their, question afterwards. So people are, using those to, do their searches. So I think in terms of what has changed, it's just that I feel like a lot of the longer tail queries, people are getting smarter about searching. Maybe they have they understand how to search more effectively, and so that leads to some longer queries in some cases.
Yeah, I think, is there a misconception for business owners still that, say, you're a roofing company in Columbus, that they want to rank for roofing Columbus rather than, the 20 or 30 questions that people might be asking about having their roof redone in Columbus?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, there's definitely a misconception. Most business owners want to rank for that money term, whatever your business is, that business and your city, or that business. And in reality, that's difficult many times organically to rank right away, or even in a longer period of time. And you can certainly pay for that traffic. But one of our best case studies on this that I always bring up at client meetings is we were working with a employment law firm, and we had done some keyword research and saw some interesting topics on different things. And one of the blog posts we had written was something about can you sue your employer for stress? And a lot of employers probably don't want that article written, but we did the research, wrote the article on behalf of the client, got approval, and that article ended up ranking really well for the client and actually drove number of leads per month. I want to say 15 to 20, somewhere in that range. And that's just a longer phrase, can I sue my employer for stress versus employment attorney, Columbus, Ohio, for instance. So, those longer tail conversational, informative blog posts and articles can sometimes yield, many times, we see it all the time with clients, yield more targeted traffic that will convert better because you are now the authority on it, because they visited your website because you wrote the article on it.
So how does that work into your content development strategy for the companies that you do business with? Are you really trying to answer some of those major questions that people have with a long form blog post?
Yeah, I would say a lot of the times we are. I think if you think of searching in general, most of us have, we're either conducting research on a product or we're wanting to get the answer of something. So a lot of content that we develop will be catered around, questions people may have with the industry or the service or the product, that type of thing. And you can glean a lot of information from Google itself. They provide a lot of, I'm sure recently you've seen some of the questions that they provide. If you type in something, there's a lot of common questions that they have. And, creating content revolved around that is great for SEO because that people are searching for those questions related to your core, keywords.
Now, as far as the misconceptions around some of the work that you do in the digital marketing area, I know there's a lot of people that have been burned in this market with SEO and different companies not necessarily doing a great job. How do you counter that when you come across it?
Yeah, first is just to listen to the client. There are just so many case studies of people, getting burned, or a lot of times it's just not a good communication on behalf of the other firm to the client in terms of expectations. So what we try to do up front is just, first of all, analyze the client, understand their goals, look at the landscape, and then give them a strategy that we feel like can work and give them clear expectations in terms of, hey, you know what, we're going to do an organic SEO campaign. This is going to take 6 months to start generating some substantial results. Or, hey, let's start with pay-per-click. We'll start to get some initial data back, that type of thing. So I think we counter that with just our case studies, client work we've done before. We've had a number of success stories, but then also communicating to them clear expectations of what they can expect, and then communicating with them monthly in terms of, have a report. What do these numbers mean to you? a lot of times clients, they get reports and they just, they don't know what it means. So we have to take those numbers and this data and communicate to that clearly. What does that mean to their business and to their bottom line?
So really setting those expectations and a little bit of education in there as well to, make sure that their expectations are realistic.
Yes, I think education's, 50% of this job, because it's, like I said earlier, there's so much information and so much misinformation that it's our job to communicate, what is, the right course.
And what fears do these people have as far as, moving forward with a new digital marketing agency?
I think, just digital marketing in general, they've had bad experiences before. There's either that or, they just don't know what to expect, or they want a real number. Like, hey, we're going to invest $2,000. What are we going to get in return? And in reality, it's hard to predict that, because we don't know, unless we've worked with a similar client in the past, we don't know what's actually going to happen. And, our job is to help strategize a marketing campaign that will help deliver that traffic or those leads or those sales. But if the client or the product or the services that they offer aren't, something that is, maybe they need some work on some of their messaging, or maybe their services are not up to par, or their products aren't as good as some of the competitors, we're only as good as our client as well. So it's, sometimes, it's our job to just look at the client and say, hey, is this going to work with their offerings?
So we've talked mainly about traffic and lead generation, but, ultimately there's that conversion factor as well. Like you're talking about, they might not have a good call to action. What kind of things can you do to help them on that end?
Yeah, so we work with several web development consultants and companies with client websites. So, we'll take a look at their website, and, a lot of times it's as simple as, hey, you know what, you don't have a phone number up in the upper right-hand side that on every page of the site. So if somebody's interested in a service of yours or a blog post, they can call you right away, or a contact form on the sidebar that's very easy to see. And so if people have questions or want to contact you, a lot of times those small changes can make big differences. And then certainly, looking at the client's website on a mobile device is very helpful, because a lot of times you'll see like the phone number just drops off completely, or is it way at the bottom. And at the end of the day, if you're if you're in the service-based business, or you want to have that information easy to contact. So mobile click to call, easy contact forms. If you're a product company, if you're selling products, the checkout process has to be seamless and easy, both on mobile and desktop. And so we'll consult on some of those strategies, and even use our contractors in terms of updating client websites to improve that conversion rate of the traffic that we're sending.
That's right. Today, in today's day and age, it's got to be easy. Any kind of frustration, people are just hitting that back button, or, forgetting it. I'll move on to something else. The attention span isn't very long. So anything that you can do to make it easy is really going to help sales.
Absolutely.
So, Mark, if somebody is listening to this, wants to reach out to you and get some more information about how you can help them, what is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, they can email us at, you can email me individually here, Mark, M-A-R-K, at twowheelsmarketing.com. All one word, and then TWOWHEELS, marketing.com. You can also visit our website, twowheelsmarketing.com. And our contact information is on the site there.
Excellent. Well, we've covered quite a bit of content today. We've talked about traffic and lead generation and PPC and keywords. If there's one subject that we didn't really talk about that you'd like to mention, what would that be?
We didn't really dive too much into Facebook ads, but we do a number of those campaigns for clients, and increasingly so. I think the ability to target individuals based on interests, behaviors, demographics is just a great strategy for clients, especially if they have a target customer target client with defined characteristics that they know. Definitely an area of growth and exploration for clients.
Now, as far as that goes, is there still a kind of organic social aspect to that works, or do you really just concentrate on paid because it's so much more targeted?
Yeah, we concentrate on paid. We did some organic social early on, but just the Facebook algorithm, I mean, I don't know what percentage anymore. I feel like it's in the single digits in terms of the number of your followers that actually see your organic posts. So we focus on the paid side of things, but because we're able to target, the customers, target demographic pretty effectively. There's also advanced techniques on there in terms of, lookalike audiences that Facebook can take email data or website traffic data and try to find audiences that look just like your customers or look just like your website visitors. So we kind of get into those areas as well.
Well, Facebook's definitely pretty smart about getting the information on their audience, and it's a great place to be able to find exactly who it is that you want to market to. So yeah, Facebook still works really well for most businesses. Well, Mark, this has been highly educational, very interesting. Thank you very much for being my guest on the Trust Factor Radio today.
All right. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it. Good to be here.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.